Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed?
Geoengineering is happening in front of you.
Its last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we walked.
These are crimes against humanity.
Gallantly streaming, and the rockets regulate, the bombs bursting in proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
My father, in his last few days on this earth, we banged heads about geoengineering. He didn't buy into it. He couldn't fathom that somebody would want to do something bad to another man. It's just where his heart was. He didn't understand the deep state and the agendas and the Agenda 21s and the Agenda 30s. I'm just saddened that I do. Because he made an observation to a friend in one of his last conversations last weekend. That was his words, quote unquote, were his little conspiracy son might be on to something. My father was a great man, and when he was educated, he was the most dangerous man you ever seen. He single-handedly saved the window tinting community by testifying in Congress and he's just amazing. And he was ahead of his time his whole life in everything he did. And I think, I may not be saving the world with some energy device, but if we're saving the world, it's the same in the end, right? Because that's what this is about, right? Aren't we trying to make it better for ourselves? 7 billion people on this planet, and we can't get together and stop this? My dad taught me the power's in the numbers, and if we don't use it, they will. I'm sorry if you watched that last video. It was really rough. But I was really hurt, I know this stuff has an environmental effect on everybody, including my father. Yeah, his lungs were junk, but they finished it. What little air capacity he had left, they made sure to block those pores. And I don't care what anybody says, because I'm going to take that to my grave. My father was always ahead in whatever he did. Years. And I know I'm ahead of my time on this. Years. But maybe if somebody will listen and somebody will do homework and somebody will check out geoengineeringwatch.org, they'll realize that even though I am way crazy and passionate, but this is real. That plane just left a persistent contrail over hundreds and hundreds of miles, and now it's gone back to a perfect little contrail plane. Take a look. If your car was going on the road and it suddenly just burped out a bunch of crap for 100 miles and then went clean, think you'd get pulled over? You see that little dog? She tells me when it sprays because she coughs and she can't sleep. And she sits there. Remember when they used to take the canaries to the coal mines? Why'd they do that? Little lungs can tell when there's no air quicker than anybody, right? My little lungs are coughing. At day, at night. She wakes me up and tells me when they're spraying. Go ahead. Laugh at me. You may not believe this, but you're in this boat with me. That's right. So keep laughing. Joke's gonna be on you. Let me tell you something. Unfortunately, I've leveled up since my father passed. I'm going to tell you the reality here, kids. George Carlin said it best. At some point, his comedy, he realized the destructive nature of the global elites and what's happening to us. And he realized that we're all doomed. And that's why he made jokes about it. And he said the way that he became level-headed with it was he just gave in because you knew you couldn't win. Because there's too many people who are dumbed down and suppressed and don't want to research it. We just want to have somebody tell us, feed us everything. Well, see how that works for you. Carver 1-3. I don't know if I'm doing any good or what I'm even doing anymore. You know, you start to wonder yourself. So I have succumbed to the fact that the global elitists and the Agenda 21 and the Agenda 30 are in full play, and I hope you think I'm crazy and that you actually get off your butt and look and do something. And if you don't, get out there and enjoy it. There's some environmental waiting for you. Peace.
There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking and you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day long, where they tell you what to believe all day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged, and nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all. Yeah. You know? And nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on, the fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Making a decision can be tough for some. Fear of making the wrong one. I was raised by my father to make the decision, make it the right decision. And if it was the wrong decision, make it the right one. I'm on my way though. My mom just called and said my father had cardiac arrest, which means a heart attack. Guess he took a scooter to go get coffee. There's an ambulance down there. I don't know if that's him, but it's going where I'm going. Lots of chemtrails today. Geoengineering.